What's up guys, I'm just a gamer and I'm back with another video. Next week is a huge week for gaming. I mean, we have the PlayStation State of Play starting off the week. We have Summer Game Fest a few days later. We have Xbox having a showcase as well. Their first since they're changing leadership, so that's going to be really interesting to see. And then there's also a rumored June Direct for Nintendo, which, that being said, I don't think they'd show that next, I don't think they would cram that into next week. They'd want their own space to breathe, so I'm thinking if there is going to be a June Direct, it'll probably be later in the month. But who knows? Maybe they're going to be crazy and jam that in next week as well. Who knows? But regardless, a lot of stuff is heading our way. A metric ton of gaming news is headed our way. And the one starting it all off is PlayStation State of Play. So I just want to start off with my predictions for that event. And yeah, there's already a bunch of leaks and rumors that I have not watched. I've been avoiding like the plague, but obviously things fall through the cracks, so there's hints of things I've already like heard or seen. So off the bat, I'm taking off the table that I'm not, since it's already been rumor slash leaked, I'm not going to talk about the apparent God of War game. I'm not going to talk about what was the other thing that was leaked. I think it was Horizon 3, which even though that's apparently a leak or a rumor at least, I don't know, I feel like that'd be way too soon. But point is, I'm going to be avoiding the stuff that's already been like leaked and rumored. I'm going to be avoiding that stuff off the bat. So this is just going to be things that I'm hoping to see. And yeah, enough me talking, let's get into it. So this first game is pretty much guaranteed to be there next week, and that is Marvel Tokon. I mean, it is pretty much a PlayStation Studios game in collaboration with Arc System Works. So, it's pretty much guaranteed to show up next week. And the next team to be shown, people are stating they believe it's going to be Doom's team, which is also being dubbed the villain team. Because what better way than to like put Doom, who's one of the biggest villains in Marvel, make his team comprised of other villains. And some are already saying there's hints in the last trailer that Carnage might be one of the people on his team, which would be really cool. We really don't see Carnage that often. I mean, obviously a lot of Venom. Even though he's a very big Venom and Spider-Man villain, we don't really see that much of him. So it'd be really interesting to see Carnage in a fighting game. And then the other two teammates I could possibly see coming to Doom or being on Doom's team is, I want to say they want another, like a big villain to like match up against Hulk. So I would say Abomination is a good chance to show up, or like another big, chunky monster villain. Again, just to like go up, so you can like go head to head with Hulk. And then to offset maybe some of the X-Men, maybe Magneto, that'd be a really cool villain. I mean, obviously this day and age, he's kind of an anti-hero, but in a lot of stuff, he's still very much a villain. Or through most popular media, he's still seen as a villain, even though lately he's more of a anti-hero. But still, it'd be very cool to see him on Doom's team. The only other character I could maybe see them also doing is maybe Thanos. But Thanos is a big guy, and I don't know like if they would want to like forefront another big guy, like two big guys on the same team. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna stick to Carnage, or obviously Doom, Carnage, Magneto, and I'm gonna say Abomination. I think that's gonna be a villain team worth checking out. But regardless, point being is Marvel Tokon is definitely gonna show up next week, and they're definitely gonna show off Doom's villain team. So yeah, very excited for that. Another game that I think has a good chance of showing up is Kena 2. This was one of the more surprising reveals from the previous State of Play. A lot of people were actually pretty surprised and excited that Kena itself got a sequel. I still have not played the first one, and I plan to do so before the sequel comes out, because it does look good. But I'm more interested to see if there's because it was announced before that it was going to be multi-platform, that it was still going to be coming to PC. And I'm pretty sure that's still going to be the case. I'm pretty sure that going forward, Sony exclusives or single player games are going to be exclusive to the console. But I think since this one was already announced, they're going to keep this one multi-platform. And I'm just the other reason I think this one's going to also come out is because of that fact. They want to get all their multi-platform games, they want to get them out, and have them like people still have that goodwill before they start taking them away. And I think Kenna's going to do that. And then in general, I just think Kenna has a good chance of showing up just because, the first Kenna and even this Kenna is very much tied to PlayStation. And I think they want to still, I think they need to show off like these single player games that are going to be only available on PlayStation going forward. And Kenna 2, I think, has a good chance of doing that. So for sure, I think the chances of seeing Kenna 2 next week are actually very high. I'd even bet money on it. Moving on to third party, I am pretty positive we're going to see some Onimusha Way of the Sword. I mean, Capcom has been on a roll with both Resident Evil 9 and Pragmata, and now with those two games out of the way, they're going to want to start focusing on Onimusha. And so yeah, I am pretty positive we're going to see Onimusha, and maybe possibly even a demo. I know there was a demo, a playable demo, for events and stuff back when, but we haven't really seen anything lately. And RE9 only just recently, after the game's been out for a while, got a demo released. So I want to say for Onimusha, they're going to want to change that up, and they're going to, have a new trailer and announce a demo. That's my prediction for Onimusha at the State of Play next week. But either way, I'm pretty positive we're going to see Onimusha. Castlevania Belmont's Curse was first shown off in the previous State of Play during the Konami block, and it received a ton of praise and excitement, and I think Konami's going to want to capitalize on that because the game is slated to release this year. So I think there's a good chance we're going to see Belmont's Curse, and yeah, this is one of those games that I'm pretty sure everyone is going to just be very excited for. I know I am. It's like the return of Castlevania finally after so long. And yeah, I think there's a pretty solid chance that they're going to show up at the State of Play next week. Another returning game from the previous State of Play that I think we'll see is Control Resonant. Again, this is a game that's also slated to come out this year. Apparently it was even supposed to say summer. So I think there's a good chance we might get like a release date trailer. And if not that, we're just going to get something new. There's got to be more to this game than they've shown so far. And they've been doing this really good job of like, they haven't released one lately, but they have previously been slowly releasing like these little developer diaries, just keeping it in the forefront of people's minds. So I think there's a pretty good chance we're going to see Control Resonance again. If not here, I would say definitely a Summer Game Fest for sure. I mean, it's going to show up regardless sometime next week. Maybe not at this event, but I think, again, there's a good chance it'll show up here at PlayStation, but if not, we will definitely see it at Summer Game Fest. But either way, we will be seeing more of this game. Now we're going to get into the predictions where I am less certain. These are more high hopes than like, real true predictions. But yeah, I think there's a good chance we might see more of the new Virtual Fighter. It's, RGG Studios has been hard at work. Apparently there have been leaks and things online. So like that could, like, in my mind, that just means that they were getting close to showing more of the game. And I just think, again, if not at PlayStation, I would say maybe Summer Game Fest. The only reason I say it has a good chance of showing up at PlayStation is just because PlayStation has lately done a really good job of like introducing fighting games and being like with Tekken and Street Fighter and other reveals of that other reveals of that kind. So I think there's a good chance Virtual Fighter can also fall into that category and PlayStation might show them off. So yeah, I think there's more of a high hope than a true full-blown prediction, but I'm going to say Virtual Fighter. I'm going to say the new Virtual Fighter. Now, it's no secret that a lot of Korean and Chinese developers have been really stepping up when it comes to game creation. I mean, we've gotten really good games such as Stellar Blade, Lies of P, Black Myth Wukong, and a few others, and they've been really knocking it out of the park lately. And there's actually quite a few games revealed or announced by, Korean and Chinese studios that I just want to highlight. That being said, I know the one that people want to see more of, myself included, the Rooster Man that was shown off last in the previous State of Play, but I think it's way too soon for them to show anything new. I really don't think we're going to see Rooster Man or Project Windless. But I do want to highlight some other games that I think have a good chance of showing up, but I'm not certain. But I think there's a good chance. Starting with the one I think has the best chance, and that is Tides of Annihilation. They just released a little behind the scenes video a few days ago, and it showed off some new footage here and there and some behind the scenes things. And yeah, they've already stated in that video that there's going to be more news of the game during the summer, which we're pretty much already in it, and also that they're going to be there's going to be a playable version at upcoming events, which my guess means Summer Game Fest. That's my guess. So yeah, I think Tides of Annihilation has a really good chance showing up at the State of Play and Summer Game Fest in general. So yeah, I just want to highlight this game and a few others. Another one being Blood Message. This game was revealed, like, I want to say almost a year ago now, and we haven't really seen anything of the game. Again, this was the game that was basically like a Chinese version of God of War, where it's like a father and son like epic journey. And in general, the game looked amazing. Again, not sure of any of that with actual gameplay, but they did say technically it was a blend of in-engine and cinematics, but who's to say? But maybe I'm misremembering. But regardless, the game looked very interesting, very cool, and again, we have not heard about it in almost a year, so I think it's about time we got some type of update. And I think PlayStation might be a nice, a good bet. They've done a really good job of, similar to like with Project Windless, of bringing in these, Korean, or this one's Chinese studios, and like promoting and showing off these games. So I think there's a good chance we could see it at the State of Play next week. But that's nothing's for certain. And there are a few other games I want to highlight. Another one, I think this is also this one is Korean, and this is Wuchi the Wayfarer, and this is also another game that it was revealed a while back, and I have not seen any updates for it, at least that I could find, and it looked very cool. This one is obviously a Korean-based studio, and it is based on Korean mythology, and it looked really interesting. It looked very much like it's based off stories of the titular Wu Chi, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, this is another one that I've been really wanting to know more of. And yeah, last but not least of these games, there's also Genegod's Neza, and this one was like the most interesting out of all of them, just because it did show off gameplay, and the gameplay was obviously a action based, very similar to Tides of Annihilation and Devil May Cry and stuff like that, but it also had this very unique system of like below the boss's health bar there's like this bar, like a tug of war bar, like a morale bar, where as you do damage it fills up to it fills up more to towards the enemy side, taking more of the bar, and if you get him far enough you're able to unleash like epic big attacks. Again, the gameplay is probably playing as I'm talking about it, but it was a very interesting mechanic that I had not seen before, or at least that I'm familiar with, and it looked very cool and very intriguing, and in general the game looks really awesome. So yeah, these are the games that, like, again, very much they're from Korean and Chinese developers, and again, PlayStation has done a pretty good job of highlighting and showing games from these studios, from these unknown studios or starting studios. And I think there's like a fair chance we could see one, if not more than one of these, show up at the State of Play next week. And I'm really hoping we do, because I think these games look really interesting, and I would like to have people have more eyes on them. I would like to people know more about them. But yeah, I would say good chance, but this is more hopeful on my part. More hopeful on my part. Now again, I know there's already been rumors and leaks, and I'm trying to not really talk about them and avoid them. And I'm obviously referring to apparently the God of War Faye game, and Fair Games being retitled or rebranded as a game called Break-In apparently. And there are some others that I'm just not going to go into, just because they've already been rumored and leaked. And that, moving on though, the other ones I will say that I'm just not sure about is on the Square Enix side, and that is people hoping and hyping that either Kingdom Hearts 4 or Final Fantasy 7 Part 3 will show up. And I'm just gonna say I don't think they're gonna show up, but I say that knowing that the universe likes to prove me wrong. So by me putting that out there, I'm hoping the universe is going to want to prove me wrong and have them, either one of them, show up next week. I'm going to say no, I don't think they'll show up, just so that the universe will prove me wrong. But if I had to say, I think there's a higher chance of Final Fantasy 7 Part 3 showing up than Kingdom Hearts 4, just because, from interviews and things that have happened recently, the game is technically playable from start to finish, and, things like that. So I think there's a better chance of it showing up than Kingdom Hearts 4, which we've basically had no info about in a while. But that being said, because of that, maybe they'll want to show off Kingdom Hearts 4 just to have that, give people that update and info that they've been craving. So I'm just not sure. I know some people are saying that they don't think either one will show up just because the expansion for 14 is coming out at the beginning of next year in January. But I think Square Enix knows well enough that, Final Fantasy 7 fans and Final Fantasy 14 fans, they may not necessarily overlap that much, and if they do, they're die-hard fans that are going to buy both the expansion and the 7 regardless. So I don't see that being credible. I don't see that reason itself being credible. I think it's wholly likely that we can see one or the other coming out, showing up, and it has nothing to do with Evercold. I really don't see that being a factor. But that being said, I will stick to me saying no, neither one will show up, just hoping that the universe will be like, let's prove him wrong, and one or both of them show up. Crossing my finger. But yeah, since I don't want to go into leaks, and I don't really want to bank on Kingdom Hearts 4 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 3 as my final, predictions, just because, again, just by me saying no, they won't be there, I'm hoping the universe wants to prove me wrong. I'm going to actually go real weird on my final prediction. And I'm going to say we're finally going to get an update or some type of trailer for a game we have not seen or heard from in, I think, years. And that is Little Devil Inside. I mean, this game was announced, I can't remember how long ago, and a lot of people were really digging it. Me, one of them. I liked the art style, the gameplay looked interesting and exciting. The fact that you're like a monster hunter, like the overworld being like the little figurines that move about, things of the like. It seemed very big, very expansive, and just overall really cool. And it kind of just dropped off the face of the earth, and we have not heard anything new, at least not that I could find. And I'm just gonna say it's been long enough. We're finally gonna get something from Little Devil Inside. That's gonna be my final prediction. I think we're finally gonna get something of that game, if not, hopefully maybe a release date, because holy cow, it's been forever. And yeah, that's gonna be my final prediction. Or more or less my final prediction, my final big prediction. I'm gonna say we're gonna get something from Little Devil Inside. But yeah, that's going to do it for my predictions for the State of Play coming on June 2nd next week. Again, I'm super excited. Obviously, they've already confirmed that the Wolverine game will be starting the State of Play. And I'm just very curious to see how long it is. Like, I want to say, I think they said they're going to be like doing a deep dive. So I want to say they're going to do like a nice 15 minutes of, gameplay, showing off the game, and then the rest of like the 60 minutes, hour long, State of Play is gonna, take up the rest of the time. At least that's my hope. But yeah, those are my predictions. I know a lot of them are kind of safe and a lot of them are kind of wild, but here's crossing my fingers. I get at least one or a few of these right. But yeah. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or comment down below. I'd appreciate feedback. Subscribe. I am streaming on both Twitch and YouTube, so if you like, you can watch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/JustAGamerInc, all together in word, or you can click link below, or you can watch me right here on YouTube. Just hit that notification bell to know when I go live. But what are your thoughts on my predictions? What are your predictions for the State of Play coming up? What game do you hope we see? What game are you hoping we don't see? Or is there something you hopefully you don't want them to show? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you guys. But regardless, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care and have a good game.